The second principle of Bill Murray is surprise is golden, randomness is lobster. Good book. I just realized that this table behind me is filling up. The wife, in an effort to fix her office, which is her crafting dojo now, she evicted all of my books, which is not a lot of books. I used to have lots of books, but now I just have a couple piles of books. And I remember a couple years ago I actually went through and I got rid of stacks and stacks of books. I took so many books into Half Price Books that I actually brought a dolly, and it took like 3 trips to dolly all of the books into Half Price Books. Hang on, the cat wants to say hi. Okay, so I have all these books, and one thing I realized, it was like most of them I probably haven't read, or I want to read, but I just can't get around to it. So I think what I'm going to finally do is I'm going to collect all of the books that I have in the entire house, throw them on a table, sort them, we'll KonMari some books out of here, but instead of trying to sell them at Half Price Books for a penny, I think I'm just going to take them to the library and donate them, because the ones that I have left are actually really good, decent books, or they're very odd, unique, like indie published books. So chances are the library actually doesn't have those. So we can sort of share those on, and I won't have to feel bad about selling them for a penny. Boom, table. See, I have these like shelves next to our home theater system. I got all these books just piled up. I've only read like 2 of these books. So I think there's still one good pile upstairs. But this is it. So not a lot of books. A surprisingly small amount compared to what I used to have. I think I used to have like 3 full shelves of books, and it was mostly like these paperback books, right? Sorting this out, you can see that like there's high school yearbooks that I want to keep. There's like these commemorative issues of like hardbound versions of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings that I want to keep. But there's also like these junk books. There's books that I could take to work and just leave, you know? Like, I don't need that at home. And then there's obviously books, like my kids' books, that they probably don't want. And I have a lot of video game books. Like, here's a year of games journalism books. Oh, wow. See, I could probably read these once, be happy, and then sell them. This one I think is actually worth like $50 online. That's sad. That one I should probably try to sell. But yeah, I see a bunch of stuff we could just sell and then call it. I got a bunch of like Brady manuals, good old-fashioned video game manuals. Dragon Quest VIII, good game. Yeah, so room for improvement. So the thing that I wanted to bring up though was this book. I was going to buy this book. It's about the Tao of Bill Murray. It's real life stories of joy, enlightenment, and party crashing. Basically a bunch of dumb stories about Bill Murray. This has been on my Amazon wish list to purchase this for $17 right now. I think it's on sale. And then I looked, and my local library had it. My local library had this. I didn't even have to order it from a different library. And having said that, I'm already like a fourth of the way through the book after like 2 days of reading it. Great story. I just don't know if I'd ever reread it, so I don't see a reason to purchase it. I have I've made a point to actually go through my Amazon book list. I have a list on Amazon of books that I wanted to purchase, and I've actually went through and I've been searching, and almost all of them are actually in my local public library system. So, I mean, what this whole thing boils down to really is intentionally keeping objects. I've been keeping old video games because they're very nostalgic to me. I've been keeping all this homebrew equipment, even though I haven't brewed any beer in forever. I mean, it's been well over a year. I've been keeping these books because I'm just like, oh, I'll read these one day, or I want to read these, or I want to reread these, right? And I just recently read the book Everything That Remains by Nicodemus and Milburn. I don't know, I probably got that name wrong. But they're the Minimalists online, theminimalist.com, I think is their website. And I've read their stuff before. I've watched their movie, Minimalism. All great stuff, but I never actually sat there and... I think I finally got to that point where, like, I've actually purged stuff in the past, but I never came back and went back through the stuff that I kept from the purge. So all that I have left is stuff that I keep telling myself, oh, I want to keep that, or I want to do something with it. But I'm actually getting into that mindset of, do I really need this? Like, the stuff that I kept has just been sitting there collecting dust for well over a year now. So I think I finally separated my mind from needing to keep that stuff. So it's eye-opening. Another thing I did find, I busted out my old video camera. My old partner and I, we made a full-length feature documentary. We won 3 film awards, actually 3 actual film awards for our documentary. But we literally made the entire documentary on 2 of these cameras. This thing is now, I want to say 11 or 12 years old. It was one of the first consumer grade HD cameras out on the market. So it does 1080, but it does it at 1080i, so it's interlaced, which is bad these days. You want the progressive scan, otherwise you get lines when there's motion. But I forgot that I had given this to my kids when we drove to Yellowstone. They made this entire documentary in the back seat of the van, and I'll probably post some of it. I want to cut it together into like a funny gag reel, but I have to de-interlace all the video, which is gonna suck. But I promise I'll put some highlights sometime of our Yellowstone trip with this crap camera. The kids had a blast. They spent the entire time in the back seat making videos about it was just the kids being kids. You know, they're making stupid videos. They had a blast though. And I told them, I was like, if you really dropped it and broke it, I'd be upset, but I wouldn't be pissed. So that's how old this camera is. It still works though. This battery, it's got several hour battery on it, so it's a cute little camera. It got the job done. I can still use it as a secondary camera, but it'll only shoot in 24 frame or 24p. I can do 1080 at 24p instead of 1080 at 30 frames. It would be 1080i at 30 frames. I'm gonna keep the vlogs really short going forward. Expect more updates, and yeah, love yourself. Peace.